So let's talk about addiction. Won't that be fun? Welcome to Theresa's Tips for Transcendence. Today's topic is the two faces of addiction. I'm Theresa Schley-Lombardi, author of Penelope and the Divine, a fictional personal narrative about a sensual woman born with special powers and her journey through the world of erotic dance and toward spiritual transcendence. The antagonist in my novel is the evil Forsyth Corporation, who attempts to enslave the minds of the world's population by keeping them addicted to food additives and refined sugar. I have to be honest, I really don't want to talk about addiction. I had no intention of discussing it publicly. However, I kept getting nudged by Spirit to talk about it, and I know from experience that when Spirit talks and you don't listen, you end up getting bitch slapped by the universe, and that really hurts. So I'm doing what I'm told today. The two faces of addiction are the addictive behaviors and substances themselves and the stimulant cycle. I just want to begin by saying the information I present is not intended to replace any kind of recovery program or 12-step program. It's just a way to make the recovery process easier. It took me many years to figure this out, but addiction is really not about the substance or behavior itself. It's sort of the behaviors around the addiction. Also, based on my personal experience, addiction is really about, at a core level, numbing out or escaping. If you want to transcend, if you want to be on a path to transcendence, you really can't be numbing out. Transcendence is about being in the moment and feeling your emotions as you go through them, because our emotions are our teachers. They're what help us to learn and grow. After many years of working on the spiritual aspects of the compulsion, I learned some very interesting information based on the human energy cycle. I had some endocrine system issues that came out of long-term stress. So basically my adrenals were fatigued. What I learned is I was on what's called the wired and tired cycle. What that means is you don't sleep well at night. You wake up in the morning, you're tired. So the first thing you do is hit some caffeine, any kind of caffeine. That gets you elevated, but what happens is after a little while it makes your blood sugar tank. So now your blood sugar is low, and the next thing you want is something sweet because your body wants to get sugar to it as fast as possible. The same thing happens. You go up and then the blood sugar goes back down. So by now, let's say it's the afternoon. It's after lunch, you've eaten something, your blood sugar drops again, and now you want that afternoon pickup. You want the Starbucks again, or you want the soda, or you want my drug of choice, which was the chocolate chip cookie, anything to get the blood sugar back up. So now by late afternoon or evening, what you need is something to calm you down so that you can relax. That's when you hit the glass of wine or whatever kind of downer that you're into. Now the problem is when you try and go to sleep, because you've been pumping your body with stimulants all day, it can't settle down. And then you go to sleep and don't sleep well again, you wake up tired and the whole cycle starts again. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the majority of our population is on this addictive cycle. If you have to hit Starbucks in the morning or you can't function, hello, you're on the stimulant cycle. Big problem in this is blood sugar. I have some issues with low blood sugar hypoglycemia, so do a lot of people without realizing it. The first thing that happens when my blood sugar tanks is I start to feel kind of buzzed, and it's like, okay, the party started, so let's keep it going. Then I want a glass of wine. And the problem with that is the worst thing that you can put into your body when your blood sugar is already low is alcohol, because that just completely exacerbates the problem. As I was getting nudged by Spirit to do this video, I kept seeing this, let me see if I can do this right. I kept seeing this diagram in my head. So what this is, okay, stress, poor eating habits, going too long without eating can create low blood sugar or hypoglycemia. What happens when you have hypoglycemia is it affects your emotions. So maybe you're set out to have a completely normal day, but because once you have low blood sugar, your emotions are affected. I get edgy and angry and like I can't cope with stuff. When I feel emotions, and it's the same for a lot of people, the first thing I want to do is have a stimulant. If I'm feeling too edgy, I want a glass of wine. If I'm feeling sad, then I want some chocolate. And then what happens is the stimulants affect your blood sugar. Your blood sugar's out of whack. It affects your emotions. You need to fix your emotions instead of feel them. So then you have some stimulants, and the whole cycle starts again. So since alcohol turns to sugar in the bloodstream, alcoholics have a particular problem because what happens with them is they're addicted to alcohol and they're addicted to sugar. When they stop drinking, their body is still craving quantities of sugar. One way to make the recovery process easier is to eliminate all stimulants. That means no chocolate, no caffeine, no refined sugar, no soda, no alcohol, none of that. So you're asking me, Theresa, are you saying that we should eliminate all these things from our diet? And my answer is yes. Have I eliminated all these things from my diet? Hell no. Are you crazy? It's freaking impossible. I tried it multiple times over a period of 3 years, eliminating everything, including green tea, and I was miserable. So here's what I discovered. The point is to make it a process. You're piloting a plane, say to Hawaii. You're on the way to paradise. And as you're traveling, you're just adjusting for the weather and the wind trajectory. So you're still pointed in the same direction, but you have to adjust a little bit to stay on. Basically what that means is instead of going to get a mocha in the morning, which is the caffeine and chocolate, sugar, and caffeine and coffee, just get a regular coffee and maybe put a little bit less sugar in. So the other thing that you can do is instead of eating the whole bag of M&Ms, just eat a little handful. Right there, you've reduced or eliminated the amount of stimulants that you start your day with. If you can eliminate all stimulants from your life 100%, good for you. But if you can't, make it a process. You're completely decreasing the amount of stimulants that you're putting into your diet just by getting conscious about it. Someone who has an addiction is already having a hard time coping with their emotions. And that's what the addiction's about. When you add the stimulant cycle to the problem, it's like creating this artificial land of hell on top of what you're already dealing with. It just makes the recovery process so much harder. The best thing to do is start by balancing your blood sugar. The easiest way to do that is to eat small, well-balanced meals around 3 hours apart. It's that simple. It does take some planning, but it is that simple. When you do that, you're feeling less sort of fake emotions, and you don't need as many stimulants. And so your day is calmer. Now, if you're at the beginning of your recovery process and you're having a hard time getting through 1 hour, much less a whole day without your addictive substance or behavior, don't worry about the stimulants at that time. Just do the best you can. And once you have some recovery under your belt, then you can start thinking about this stimulant cycle and pay attention to when you're craving stimulants. I cannot describe the difference it has made in my life to manage my blood sugar and my stimulant intake. When I do feel emotions, they just come and go. But if I'm already feeling anxious, edgy, buzzed, or wired because I've had too many stimulants, which I still do from time to time, I can't tell whether I'm having a life situation that I need to deal with, or there's this other stuff going on, or if I just want a glass of wine to calm down or something like that. It's such this huge knot of stuff all together. I can't sort it out. So what I want to do at that point is just numb out. And like I said, numbing out will take you away from transcendence. So my tip today is to be conscious of your intake of stimulants. Remember that you're piloting your plane to paradise, and just minimize stimulants, be conscious of them, be aware, and little by little, you will end up toward paradise, towards transcendence. So thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you. As all of Penelope's teachers say in my novel, Namaste. I salute the divinity in you.